What's happening, everybody? This is Gate 7 International. I am your host, Adi, rolling solo today, and hopefully you guys will be able to help me contribute today. Sometimes it's not always that fun to talk by yourself, so I'm going to try and get you guys involved. I'm going to share a link in a little bit, and anyone who wants to chat with me can join. But before we get moving, boys, don't forget, boys and girls, I should say now, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check in. Tell us where you're tuning in from. We love to hear where in the world you guys are following. We love to hear from Olympiacos fans around the world. Follow us on social media if you don't already. Less than 200 subs to go on YouTube for 4,000. We are less than 150 on Instagram from 7,000, and we just hit 4,000 on Facebook. The community is growing. It's fantastic. We're all a big red-white family here. It takes nothing for you just to quickly like and subscribe, 2 seconds, but it helps us find more people. So quickly do that. It means a lot to us, and it really helps. And if you're listening on audio, give us a review on the iStore, on Spotify, wherever you're listening from, because even those engagements help us find more red and white fans. And if you want to join the Patreon community, you can do so. You can support us doing that as well. There's extra episodes you can get if you want to join the enhanced content tier. We have the WhatsApp group for $1 a month you can join, which is an incredible experience, I do have to say. And it's a lot of fun. Plus, we give some information there that we don't always share on social media. So it is a really easy way to support us if you want us to continue to grow the content that we provide for you. Everything that we get, guys, goes right back into the show. We get nothing out of it. All we want to do is cover our favorite team, Olympiacos. So, man of the match poll is also live. Give it a vote. Cast, tell us who you love. I think I know who it's going to be, but we will go over that as well as a coach's grade at the end of the show. And you can also share who your man of the match and what your coach's grade will be. We use the letter system, the grading system, but you can do 1 to 10 also. We don't care. Lines will also be open. As I mentioned earlier, I'll be sharing that link shortly. We are super excited to get into it today. Very fun, very exciting stuff today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. John Moretti, good to see you again, my friend from London. I love it. I love it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for joining in. Yorgos Moutsanos. Oh, my goodness. Yes, we're going to get into it, buddy. We're going to get into it. So let's just jump into it from now. And I'm going to start this off by saying Olympiacos had 28 shots, according to SofaScore today. 28 shots, and that's not including the 2 goals that were called back. The Masouras goal and as well as Podence's goal, both that were called back, which means that we did have 30 opportunities in our 3-0 victory. Absurd form by Olympiacos. We are the hottest team going into the playoffs. We are no question the best form. This resurgence has seen us as the team to beat, despite the fact that we're not in first place. Since Carvajal left, 17 goals scored. We've only allowed 3. 1 against Asteras, 1 against Panathinaikos, and 1 scored against us by PAOK when we beat them 4-1. Incredible. Not to mention 7 straight wins since Carvajal left. El Kaabi got goals number 21 and 22 on the season today. Incredible performances from him, especially since he came back from AFCON. The goal scoring form is back. Let's hope it stays. And what makes this whole thing sweeter is the fact that Panathinaikos and Aris both dropped points. We're in 3rd place, -3 from the top. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. It really doesn't get much better than this on a Sunday. Maybe if they had lost, maybe if we had gotten another one, maybe if PAOK had lost or dropped points, it would have been better, but doesn't always get as sweet as this. Alex Katopis from Maine. I think that's the first person that's tuned in from Maine, the state of Maine in our northeast of the United States. I love it. I love it, guys. Keep checking in. Tell me if I haven't heard from you. Tell me where you guys are coming. Dimitri Papanakios, good performance, Podence pure class from Barcelona. guys, this is incredible. This is incredible stuff. Oh, I love the Nolan Lindner Fox, the Fadi Tarim shout. Yep, I love it. He's look, they still have the cup, but for me, they're playing Olympiacos is playing worse football under him than they were under Jovanovic, but it is what it is. Moving on, let's just get to the post match, guys. Let's just talk about really quickly. We'll talk really quickly about the game today. And I'm not going to get too much into tactics, especially because we had a man advantage for most of the game. So, but as far as the lineup is concerned, there were a couple of surprises today with the likes of Nelson Abbey, the 20-year-old center back we picked up from League Two or League One, sorry, and Tolakis in goal. Two surprises for us today, all in all. And the rest of the lineup wasn't really anything crazy. I mean, we went with our strongest midfield core. Chiquinho, Horta, Heze, that is the best midfield option that we have. It's plain and simple. Top three, Masouras, who hasn't seen too much playing time since Mendilibar came. He started along with Podence and then, of course, El Kabi. In the first 5 minutes, it was very clear what Volos were doing. They were playing the Greek small ball, I like to call it. Get physical, foul a lot, just frustrate the team that's better than you. And that's what they did. 1 minute in, literally, it started like right from kickoff. 1 minute in, Heze, late challenge, gets his ankle stepped on. I was extremely worried, personally. I thought for sure that Heze, I thought he was injured at first. And I was like, oh my God, we cannot have this. Heze is too important to this European journey. He's really the only defensive midfielder we have. Forget Ibora. Ibora's a guy you bring on to lock things down, but I was worried that Heze was going to come out. I still kind of am worried that maybe there'll be some swelling after that because that was nasty. It was nice that he was actually able to continue playing. That's a very good sign, but hopefully they're monitoring that because that will swell for sure. And let's just hope that he's fine come first leg against Maccabi Tel Aviv this week. Then 4 minutes after that, Masouras gets karate kicked by Barrientos. And I mean, the extremely high kick, dangerous kick, looked like he got caught in the eye. Barrientos gets a deserved red, and then the rest of the night is one-way traffic. So that's just about it. I told you guys I'm not going to touch into tactics because you can't really look at things when you have a man advantage. We played how I would expect us to play when we have a man advantage. Now, I will say this, despite how happy I was with how especially some players played and how things went, I am a little worried about how wasteful we are with our chances, because it's not just this game that we were very wasteful. It was also with Asteras Tripolis, if you guys remember. Very wasteful with our chances. Pretty wasteful as well against Ferencváros. And we know in Europe, generally, your chances come at a premium. Maybe for the non-native English speakers here, what that means is you don't get as many chances, which is true. You don't. And we need to be able to put those away. And El Kabi, look, I am glad he is scoring goals. I am. He's a player that has frustrated me. He's frustrated a lot of us, especially when his goal scoring form drops, because he doesn't offer you as much in open play as a guy like El Arabi did in his prime. But he missed golden opportunities today, and he scored the penalty. And then the first goal, look, in my opinion, that's Horta's goal. The free kick, it bounces off of his hip a little bit. I don't think that was intention by El Kabi to score that. I think he got lucky. But it is what it is. I'm not going to not take the goals, of course, but he does waste chances. Now, to his credit, even with the waste chances today, Since coming from AFCON, his goal conversion rate, even with the missed chances, is still above 30%, which is pretty good. It's decent. If we're comparing him to other strikers in Greece and like how they do, sure. You have some strikers that are doing absurd, like Yeremiev for Panathinaikos, but that notwithstanding, the top 5 strikers in Greece, their goal conversions are like high 30s, maybe low 40s. So he's pretty it's on a whole, since AFCON, he's doing well. Now, if we take the whole season, the outlook maybe isn't so good, but in the end, he's got over 20 goals, including penalties. He could probably get to 30 by the time if the form continues, he could hit 30 by the end of the season after playoffs and with Conference League, and that wouldn't surprise me. So he needs a lot of chances to be able to score, but as long as he keeps his form up, people will not be super frustrated with him. Unlike a certain Fran Navarro, who I had said in the scouting report, people would get frustrated with if he's not scoring, and he's not scoring. In fact, he was also the reason Daniel Podence's goal got called back for a handball, but we're not going to go too much into that. I do want to talk about some other individual performances as well while we're at it. First and foremost, he's already come up in the comments by you guys, Daniel Podence. I mean, what a performance today. What a performance today. On social media, I had said all he had to do basically was score a goal, and it would have been just about perfect. And he did score a goal. Of course, it got called back. Even without the goal, though, I don't know how much better it gets. I really don't. Right before the show started, I checked SofaScore just to curiosity to see what their rating was. 9.6 for Daniel Podence. I mean, guys, since Carvajal left, he's had 2 goals and 3 assists if we're direct goal contributions. Not to mention today alone, 8 key passes. There were 3 big scoring chances, we'll call them, because they're opportunities, at least that I believe, that will register as a big scoring chance when the data populates in Scout. He was responsible for 3 of those himself. And if I'm not mistaken, all 3 of them went to El Kabi and he missed them. But that's anyway. And then let's not forget also, it was Podence that played the ball into El Arabi before it went back to Jovetic for the goal. Let's not forget that also. I mean, Daniel had a great game, and it's almost criminal that El Kabi did not have a hat trick today. I mean, he had plenty of opportunities. So thankful that Daniel Podence has found form again. Thankful 100% that he has found his feet. Carvajal's gone. One of our best players to begin the season is back to continuing that form and picking up the mantle for us. Love to see it. Super happy. If this continues, there's no way we don't activate his buyout. I'm not going to hold my breath that he's going to stay here. I think for sure we sell him. And I think the job just gets easier with the performances he's having. That's my personal opinion. Another shout out I'd like to give as well is Horta, Andre Horta. Some wizardry as well from him. He had the lovely cross, the ball that was played in for the El Kabi goal. I said before that I think the goal should be credited to him, but that's neither here or there. He had some lovely combinations also with Daniel Podence. Horta's just, I just love watching him play. I bring this up constantly, but the way I feel about watching Horta play in the midfield, it's the same way I felt about Huang. There's just quality there. This guy is quality in different ways, right? Horta's not dribbling through people nonstop. He's just very technically gifted, and he can just put the ball anywhere with incredible efficiency too. He doesn't give the ball up or give it away. He's an absolutely incredible player, and he just continues to do better. And the more understanding he has with his teammates, especially Daniel, you're seeing that they have a great understanding with each other now, and they're playing extremely well. And that combination between Horta and Podence is going to be very valuable, and especially in the upcoming legs we have against Maccabi Tel Aviv. We're seeing Horta play in these games, especially when Podence is playing. You see the heat maps that we put on social media. He's going towards the sides where Podence is. He supports Podence on the wing. He supports him constantly. Great give and goes. They move around each other, and it opens up in the final third the area between the midfield and the defensive line, which is extremely important and not something that we did a lot before Mendilibar got here for the last year and a half, really. We had a lot of very stagnant movement, lines over lines over lines, and not a lot of interpolating runs. And by that I mean people moving to create spaces and bring defenders with them so that things could open up. A lot of it was this Portuguese overload nonsense where just people were standing in a line and hoping for the best. But right now, we've got great chemistry building between some players, and there's great movement all around. Gotta love it. Another shout out I want to give as well before I start looking at some comments here. Nelson Abbey, 20-year-old center back. We picked him up from League One. I remember there was a lot of people that were very very worried about this signing. If you saw the scouting report that we had done about him, I might have only kept that in the Patreon. I don't know if it was public or not. Don't remember, to be honest. I did so many things, but he's a physical specimen. You guys saw how monstrous he is physically. You cannot beat him physically. Incredible. Incredible. And it's no wonder that Premier League clubs like Loughton Town were interested in him. I mean, he's stable, so stable at the back. And you know what? He dribbles pretty well too. He's fast and not a lot of nonsense. I don't know if I necessarily see him as like a ball playing center back, but that doesn't matter. He just is a he seemed very stable. And at 20 years old, man, if we're holding on to him, that's all of a sudden at center back, we have all these pieces to work with. It's fantastic to see. Absolutely fantastic to see. So it's the situation is looking very positive for us going into the playoffs. We have all of these pieces that are clicking at the right time. We have all of these players that are jumping up, and maybe it's because of the form and the locker room situation. It's picking most people. It's just picking everybody up. The saying goes in English, the rising tide lifts all ships. So it's a fantastic time to be a red and white fan. We've been nothing but ecstatic and thrilled every match since Carvajal left. The ball that we're playing is finally something that we all recognize as what Olympiacos should look like. It is fun again. I said this on the last show too. I always want to watch Olympiacos games, right? We don't do this if we don't love this club. But a lot of you have told us, a lot of you have told me, especially in DMs, that over the course of the last couple of years, it can be very frustrating with this club. The last couple of weeks, I can't wait for the next games. I can't wait for them again. Whereas, especially in the last year and a half, I look at games like, okay, what am I getting today? It almost was just habit watching it. Now I can't wait for the next one. I can't wait to see it. The feeling I had in the 2019-2020 season is back. And I can see some of you agree with me here. It's exciting. And I see a lot of you are talking about the summer. We'll get to that. I'll get to that with the outlook here. For now, we're going to focus more on the match and the playoff outlook. And really, guys, looking at the playoffs, which I don't want to jump the gun too much because our first and foremost, our focus needs to be on Maccabi Tel Aviv, this first leg. We have an opportunity to make it to the quarterfinals of the Conference League. So our focus needs to be as a team on Maccabi Tel Aviv. I don't care what their value is in relation to us. I don't. These Israeli clubs, doesn't matter who they are, Hapoel Beersheva, Maccabi Tel Aviv, Maccabi Haifa, we should be beating them all the time. But we've been pretty much embarrassed in most cases. We haven't won a single two-leg tie. I mean, even Maccabi, was it Maccabi Haifa 20 years ago in the group stage? We didn't beat them then either. We lost and drew. So focus has to be here. Do what we can in the first leg, close it out in the second if we can. But that's where our focus is. As far as the playoffs go, look, Panathinaikos look terrible. Now, they've done well in derbies. It's ugly, but they're getting results. Sure, penalties. But as ugly as it is, they're getting results. I think if we play like we have been, we should take that. It's not going to be easy. It'll probably be gritty. But the way this team's playing, the heart that we see on the field, coming back 2 games in a row from 1-0 down, even if the competition is not amazing, means something. There's a mentality there. There's a fortitude there that you like to see that we haven't seen from this Olympiacos team in a very long time. PAOK, they don't look like the team that seemed to be the clear-cut favorites for the title that a lot of people thought. They're vulnerable, and we know that. For me, the team to beat, who also is very vulnerable, AEK. Saw that today against the Aris. AEK has the best offense by the numbers in the Greek Super League. They create the most opportunities, combination of volume as well as quality of opportunities, and they have some very good players. Levi Garcia, when he's healthy, incredible player. Orbelin Pineda, one of the best players in the Super League, for me. Great player. Eliashon, great player. They have good players. Their defense is suspect, and that is where we can get them on the counter. But we have to be better about taking our opportunities. We are set up in such a good place right now for the playoffs. 3rd place, only 3 from the top, and we're looking so good. We can do this. And it's remarkable considering where we came from at the beginning of this season and the expectations we had before Carvajal left. It's incredible stuff, guys. It's incredible stuff. Now, I am dropping the link for anybody that wants to jump on to chat with me, share your opinions about the game, share your opinions about what's going on. We rolling solo, so probably not going to go an hour or over an hour today, but I'm curious to what your thoughts are real quick, and especially because we're 24 minutes in while we're waiting to see if anybody wants to join me. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Huge chunk of you have already passed through the show. Don't forget also to vote. Vote in the poll. The Man of the Match poll is live. Pretty sure I know who is going to win. Put the polls out on social media as well. And it seems like everybody's following suit, but we'll check in on that before we close up today with Man of the Match and Coach's Grade. Going to check in with some of your comments here as well, see what you guys are saying. Steve Sy from Germany, if I remember correct. Thank you for tuning in, buddy. PAOK has the best offense with 66 goals, AEK 60, and us 58. So yes, if we're just looking at goal scores, correct. But when we factor in opportunities created, entries into the final third, penalty box touches, XG, right? PAOK has one of the largest. PAOK and Panathinaikos have one of the largest over performances there. So yes, PAOK is scoring more goals. But the teams that have the more volume, higher XG is AEK. That's a level of sustainability. So when I say that AEK has a better offense, I'm talking about in a way of sustainability. Because look at how PAOK has started to drop off in terms of the performances. They were vastly overperforming, incredible form, but it wasn't sustainable. AEK, their production is very sustainable. In fact, in the beginning of the season, they were just not finishing their chances. Not that they weren't creating them. they had a hard time finishing. Now that they found their finishing form, that's why Ike was back in first place. Now, Balk, regardless, they are still a good team one way or another. Doesn't matter XG, all the other data points I give you. It's to explain some things to you in that respect. That doesn't mean Balk isn't going to be in it for the title. Lucescu is a very good coach when it comes to derbies as well. He's very good at motivating his players. But the fact of the matter is, we have more talent on our team. That's it, plain and simple. Same with Ike in comparison to Balk as well. But I digress. More comments coming in. Yorgos Murzanos, Ari, I think Mete is alone. If Balk don't buy him, do you think we should be looking at him? I rate this player, guys. I think every time I've watched Balk play, I think his first Swahilo Mete, if I'm saying it correctly, he's a solid player. And if I remember, I thought he was young, but he's not. He's almost like 30 years old. Anyway, but I think you're right. You may actually be right there. It's probably a loan. It was a loan from Benfica, which would make sense. I like him. I think he's a pretty good player. Now, if we're talking about this roster and how we get him to play in this roster, it depends on what we do in the summer and what players we retain versus what we don't. Because if we're gonna keep Horta, we're gonna sign maybe another alternate defensive midfield. I don't think we need him. He's 29. There's no value for us, right? There's no sellability, right? We're keeping him as 29. I don't mind a player like that as a stopgap personally, but I think we're at a point now where we can build something better with younger. Personally, that's how I see it. Then you have the Lakis Gavalas take here. The dinosaur. These players are from a different era. God, Laki, you kill me, buddy. I never change. I appreciate your take on things. You entertain me all the time, whether I agree or disagree with you. Notice SK. Hi, Adia. I love your positivity. Ike has scored many goals from set pieces in the last few games. You're absolutely right. Actually, Ike leads the league in set piece goals. I think before today, they had 11 set piece goals. So they are very dangerous from set pieces. 20% of their goal production comes from set pieces. So something I forgot to bring up. So thank you, Noti, for bringing that up. And we do have somebody that wants to join us. Oh, Hussein, my friend, it's good to see you again. Guy,
Hello.
long-time follower of the show. I got to meet him at the stadium when I was in Greece. Not last, yeah, it was the season before. So when we
Correct.
played against Pasianina. So how are you doing, buddy?
All good. Happy night. I'm so
Very
excited.
happy. You were at the stadium.
Yes, I was there and it was amazing after a long time. We felt so different and 90 minutes we were all, just waiting for the score that we would have. Also, the
Yes.
other teams, it's like we were watching like 4 or 5 matches at the same time.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah.
You could hear through the television the chants for
Yeah,
Autry.
correct.
I was killing. It was so
Sometimes even
funny.
like people were chanting for something else totally, of course, and in the stadium we had nothing to chant for at the same time. It was so fun, but yeah, it was all together, like we were like one today. It was so good.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, everybody it was just nonstop. You could feel the energy in the stadium too. It was much happier.
Yeah, it was so powerful, I can say. And what I noticed that normally gate 7 is always chanting, but it is
Mhm.
like a stable part. But when you really feel it, everyone feels at the same time, and we were like so loud all together. It was just amazing. Like you just don't want to stop it. It was just perfect. So because of it, I want to join today to just give this let's say energy to you from here at least.
Of course, of course. Well, and thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing your pictures as well in the WhatsApp
My
group. Those
pleasure.
are awesome stuff. Tell me, while I have you here, how did you see certain players? I brought up Nelson Abbey earlier, Podence. I brought up Horta. How did you see them? Was there anybody else you wanted to talk about too that you saw that the stadium seemed to be really happy about today?
The thing is, I can say first of all, Nasanabi, he was just great, and I saw that he was so hungry to show himself, and I just couldn't imagine next to Carmo. Like if they just play together, it will be, I guess, perfect. We will see. I hope, just hope for it. But up front, I saw Podense today. He wanted to show himself. He did
Oh
many
yeah.
things. He was just great. Really, I was so happy to see him. And as always, I'm always writing in the chat. I love Horta. I am favorite. So I'm a fan of him. He was just great again. And the good part is that, as you remember from the previous times, let's say, Fortunis was going back to the defense, like, guys, come front, pass to me. He was giving the directions. Horta is just doing it so naturally. So
Yeah.
he's number 10 for us, so obvious in the pitch. So it was so great, like to see. Also, we have Chiquinho back. You just trust him. Yeah, Heza was also good. So it was all like in one synergies. It was really great, and this was like a kind of rotation for us, not like
Yeah.
the main 11 for us. Even though it was really really good, just Masuras wasn't his day, I guess. He couldn't
Yeah.
really put something from my end, at least what I saw from pitch. But yeah, whole team was like a team that we were missing before. It was so
Absolutely.
individual in the back, but now it's like a team they're playing.
Hussein, how did you see Ortega today? Because there was some differing opinions I saw, not just across social media, but in the WhatsApp group as well. So I was curious what it looked like to you in the stadium, how you saw him.
The thing is, he was in front of me for the first 45 minutes, so I could see him easily. So what I noticed that he is eager to go front. That was so good. And
Yep.
for the defense, I was watching him closely. He was checking back and going for back directly, not like just staying the forward. So he was trying to be aware of what's happening. So that showed, you know, improvement to me. But also, I
That's
noticed that
good.
he wanted to go front and give the passes and take them. It was really nice to see because what I was seeing for Ortega before, it was like he wanted to do something, but he kind of didn't know what to do, and it was kind of happening, and that was it. But today, like he knew what he wanted to do. It was really nice. I saw an improvement from my end.
So one thing I saw him do a lot more today, which we really haven't seen a lot, but I saw a lot when he was back in Argentina, the runs he made inside especially when he had the ball, he looks actually pretty dangerous. He can dribble past people. There was a time actually earlier this season where he had the best dribble 1v1 dribble success in Greece. Now, it didn't really materialize into anything because he wasn't really creating anything in the final third or the penalty area. But he can dribble on people, and he's really dangerous if he's allowed to cut in from the left and go towards the middle. But very either way, I mean, very interesting, very interesting. And I hope we see that improvement. I remember Rodinei, a lot of people weren't on board
Yeah,
when he first came in January last year, and now he's all over the place and he's one of the best parts of the team. So maybe it's one of those cases where, maybe we'll see the best of him either end of this season or next season. Um,
I
there's no
can.
there's no Lambro here, Laki. He's, for this
Yeah,
comment,
Ramon.
taking Ramon over Ortega. So no, there's no
We are
Lambro
still
here for you,
missing
buddy.
him. Thanks, Labro.
So
Once
yeah,
again.
it was. So I'm willing to be patient, but I will say, all in
Yeah.
all, like for 4 million, I am still disappointed with what we've seen from him.
I want to mention something. When we were watching Rodinei, he is at his best when he plays with someone he understands him, like Fortunis.
Yes.
One twos and just passes, and he knows how to play with him. Today I noticed Ortega had help from
Yes.
Horta, from Podense. I guess that's what he needed because okay, we had the right side and we attacked from right side for months. Rodinei, Fortunis. Okay, we know this, but from left we didn't have anything. Right now, I see that Horta is going to left with Podense together. It was so good, and
Yes.
Chiquinho was just behind them. You see, like a support in there. So that was the reason that he probably had chances to, show himself and do something better. He needed someone
Absolutely.
there to help him, for sure.
Yep. I absolutely. I look. I agree with you there, and I think that's probably a huge reason for that as well. We'll see. Look, I mean, the team is still. It's funny because it's kind of still new, right? Like we have a bunch of new players that have now
Yeah,
become the new core of the team, and they just arrived in January. We're talking about Chiquinho here. We're talking about Horta. I mean, maybe not necessarily Gelson Martins because he was only here. He got hurt. One half a game, hurt again.
yes,
And
because
Carmo.
of that.
Carmo also has become a very important part of this core. So we really still have a team that's building together, and it's incredible stuff. We have I saw a comment here from Look at My Eyes DC. Nelson Abbey was reckless on some actions. He needs to chill. Yeah, I thought maybe he was over aggressive here or there, but nothing like Vezo. I'm sorry. Vezo against Panetolikos was a dumbass. Pardon my French. Vezo, it's still a travesty to me that we signed this guy. Look, he's very talented with the ball at his feet still. I'll give him that. But he reminded me of Ba, literally. The way just unnecessary, absolutely
Same.
unnecessary actions by Vezo. So but anyway, I'll take Nelson Abbey over Vezo any day of the week. Did Nelson Abbey
Without a
look
doubt.
as like big to you as he did on the screen? This man is like a physical
Yes,
specimen.
he's huge. And when he was
He's
jumping,
giant.
you could see like he was gonna tackle the guy over him. Like I said, okay, he's huge, obvious. And the forward from Volos, I don't know the guy's name, of course, but
Moritis.
I guess like he was afraid. He was had his back to him all the time when he had like a high ball, and he was going like this. I saw him like he was afraid because he knows there's a big guy behind him, and he's not afraid to jump over him easily. But I saw Abby also at once like he was checking what Rezos wanted to do because he was holding the guy and wanted Rechos to come and take the ball. It was so easy. Rechos just got, confused. He didn't even
Right.
expect these kind of things. Because of it, I'm saying I agree he's not so calm. But as we talk on the last one, last shows, Carmo has the calmness, so he can make people calm. So if they can play together, balance it, I believe we will see nice things because I saw Abby wants to do it. Like as we also said before, that not easy now to be on the first 11. Team is big, and there's a challenge, and it's nice to see these things. It's been a long time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There was somebody that just came into the waiting room and then disappeared. So if you just came into the waiting room, go ahead and come back. I'll bring you on board wherever you are. But um, I swear also, Hussein, that it was Moraitis that ran. Who was it that ran right into Nelson, like full speed, and just like it was like he hit a brick wall and he fell.
And it was a fall for him after.
Yeah,
I
that's
remember.
what I kept thinking. I was like, God, this guy is
Yeah,
he's a different he's like a brick wall, man. He's a mountain.
he's
Anyway,
huge.
Hussein, I'm gonna
Yeah,
get some of these other guys in here to chat for a little
of
bit. Thank you
course.
so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for
Thank you
having me.
again for the insight from the stadium, buddy.
Of course, everything. So have a nice day, everyone. Bye.
You do the same. Up next, we've got John. John, how are you doing, buddy?
Good, thanks. Happy, nice weekend with a nice win.
Absolutely, absolutely. Where are you tuning in from, buddy?
London.
London. I love it. I love it. Where are you, John Moretti? Is
Yeah,
this?
that's me.
Oh, fantastic!
Mm.
Love to put a face to the name. So, tell me your thoughts. What did you think? What players did you like today? Tell me a little bit.
I only got to watch the first half. Quick disclaimer, but from what I saw, I was really encouraged, especially Podence, like everyone's been saying. I mean, he was just amazing today. Midfield again. Obviously, we're against 10 men, but I thought Horta, Chiquinho especially also has a really. It's amazing how we've been controlling games with this new midfield. Yeah, I was just generally really positive. It was a great positive sign today.
Absolutely, yeah. Feeling good. I mean, it's felt a lot better the last couple weeks than it has most of the season.
Yeah, 100%,
So,
100%.
so tell me then how are you feeling about midweek against Maccabi?
I'm kind of cautiously optimistic. I think I don't know much about them. I haven't watched them this season, but like you were saying, these Israeli teams, we should be beating them with the former on in Karaskaki. I don't know why we wouldn't beat them. But if we miss our chances, if we go behind, Offie didn't punish us, obviously. No, who was it? Who was it today? Volos didn't punish us, obviously.
Oh, right.
The
Yes,
last few
because they
weeks
were
punished.
winning. Yeah.
Yeah, and the last few weeks when we went 1-0 down, we didn't get punished, but we're still slightly sloppy. So in a European game, like you said, that can really get punished, and I'm still a little bit worried about that. But I think it's a good thing the first leg is at home to get some momentum behind us, and yeah, hopefully a positive result.
How are you feeling about the playoffs?
That's I'm a bit more nervous about. I mean, I think all three of the other teams are really. I mean, I know Panathinaikos have been slipping up, but you saw how they played against PAOK in the cup, and Terim will be a great manager for these derbies. I think he has that experience of leading teams to titles, and then the other two, especially AEK. I think with Lucescu and with also with Almeida, both of those teams are really stable. They have a strong core, and in the playoffs in those derby games, they're really together as a team in a way that we're starting to see with Olympiacos, but obviously it's not on the same level yet. So I'm a bit worried about them, but I mean, we've shown in the last 7 games since Mendilibar took over that we can absolutely do it and take the title.
And are you as upset as I am that we have an international break around the corner, just as things are really getting fantastic for Olympiacos? We're now going to have the national team against Kazakhstan to break up our enjoyment and our excitement for about a week and a half.
I mean, hopefully that'll bring a different excitement as well. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I'm
I will hold
hoping
my
to.
breath.
I'm hoping to go if we qualify to Germany. So I've been waiting for
Ooh.
so long to see if we qualify. It's been so long with these games looming, but I think the international break's not a bad thing as well. Just to settle the team even more. Some players playing like Mazuras getting some more form, but yeah, it's a bit annoying for sure.
Absolutely. I hear you there. Now, one last question for you before I let you go and we get other people in here. There was a question in here from Eleftherios Machinis. Looks like he was targeting Hussein when he was here. But hello, Adi and Hussein. First of all, very good results from Ike and Bautu for us. Secondly, I'm wondering if we keep Alexandropoulos and Podence loan players. So I will add one more name. I'll add Horta to that. And I'll say, do you see us keeping all three of those players, any of those three players? What do you think? And who would you keep?
Look, Alexandropoulos, if I'm not mistaken, the option is 4 million, and he's young
Correct.
and he's Greek. So for me, that's a no-brainer. Even if he's not starting, to kind of have him around the squad, he's a guy I can see, being with us for a long time and developing into a starter and a leader of the team. Do you know the options on the other two? How much they are on Horta and Podence?
So Horta's reported to us was 4.5, but then there's other outlets that says 6 million. Podence is 5.5. And then I guess we can throw Carmo in there too, but Carmo is 18 million. And that one's not likely to happen for a lot of reasons, which is why I didn't bring them up. But for me, the ones that are the accessible ones, Horta, Podence, and Alexandropoulos. So, and they're all around the same. Podence is like 5.5. It's 4.5, 5.5, and 4.
So it's in that 4 to 6 range, kind of all three of them. I think, like you said, Karma's probably unattainable, but the other three, I think all of them we should be going for. We've spent that kind of money. I've said this before in the chat, spending all this money on wages for these tons and tons of players. I think if we could have a more stable summer and bring in these three loan guys, I think Horta has shown himself already to be a great guy that we can have starting in our midfield. That midfield of Chiquinho has in Horta, I really, really like. It's a top quality midfield, one of the best in the league. So I think to keep that together and then have Alexandropoulos as like the fourth guy there, I really think that would be ideal. We should do that. And Podence, I mean, for me, that's a no-brainer. He's shown himself to be one of the best players in the Greek league since his return. He said, multiple times, obviously, how happy he is, how much he loves it here. And I don't see for him, I don't think he really wants to go back to Wolves and be sitting on the bench. I mean, they're playing really well at the moment. They have some good players on the wing. So I think for him, I think he'd be happy at this stage of his career to sign with us for a few more years. And I think for us, that's necessary to have these players, with Fortunis getting older as well, to have these players like Podence who can really bring that magic and have that player who can turn a game on its head, and that's exactly what he is. We saw it against PAOK. We saw it today as well. We've seen it many times.
Right. Yeah. I like what you said. I like it. Good takes. Good takes, John. Well, thank you so much for joining me here.
Thank you.
Gonna get
Nice
the
to join the
next person
stream.
up.
All
Thank you, and
right.
I
See
hope
you.
you continue
Bye.
to chime in the chat for us.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Take it easy, buddy. Roman,
Hey Ari, it's been a
how
while.
are you doing, my friend? Are you still in the motherland? Or are you still in the good
I'm
old
in
land of Russia?
no, I'm in Belarus right now. It's not far
You're in
away from
Belarus.
Moscow, yeah, but I'm in Belarus.
You are, man, you're traveled all over the place. All
I
over the
I
place.
came from Cambodia like 1 month ago. I was there for 2 months.
Oh my goodness. Everywhere, everywhere. So I'll get right to it with you. So let's start with the same question I left John with. And I want to talk about, because it's coming up in the chat, Horta, Podence, Alexandropoulos. How are you handling those loans? Are you buying
I'm
them?
I'm against any kind of talk about transfers right now, because we have so important games in front of us that let's keep the transfer talk out for like till the end of the season. It's not a lost season, when we're rebuilding from now. The
Right.
season, the
It
Champions
almost
League,
was.
yeah, it just started. It just started.
For
Now is
sure.
the
Well, then tell me
yeah.
about the game. Tell me about the game, how you saw it, the players you liked. Talk to me about it today.
I like the English guy. He was amazing.
Nelson Abbey,
Abi, right? Yeah.
fantastic.
I mean,
Yeah,
he has that combination. He's very physical. He
very.
seems very fast. He's very very strong. But at the same time, we have to understand like he must have some flaws in his game, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't let him. So I want to see him against a team that actually can pressure us a little bit more, just so we can judge his positioning, his composure, and stuff like that. But what I saw today, he was like very solid, and he seemed confident as well for a 20-year-old guy.
Very. I mean, for somebody that just turned 20, I thought he looked very confident. I mean, and
Yeah,
you couldn't do anything to. I mean, the funniest for me, and I told Hussein the same thing, was when Moraidis ran right into him and it just like
he
fell. It was like
bulldozed
hitting
him
a
from
wall.
behind. Yeah, I remember that. I remember
So
that.
I couldn't stop laughing just watching it. But like his build, and I said this when I did the scouting report on him, he is a monster. He is shredded, very strong, very fast, and he can dribble the ball pretty well.
But
My
I
one
want to
worry,
see him. I want to see him with a
yes,
team like that can apply pressure to us, just to
yes,
see other sides of his game. Because
agreed.
it's obviously very early to judge. But what I saw today, I was very pleased and impressed. First of all, I was impressed that he started,
Yeah,
because
me too.
no one was expecting that, and it was
Nope.
another good choice by our coach actually.
hmm Very, very. Look, the only worry you have with players whose main pros or their main features or characteristics are physical is if they get injured, can they keep that up? That's the one worry. But aside from that, I liked what I saw today, and for me, that's enough for me. Maybe we'll get to see him rotate again in the future.
I mean,
Obviously,
he,
not.
he
He's
he
not on the
played for
European
the
list, but
English national, for the youth team, right? So
right. That's right. Yes, he did. Mhm.
that says something, right? They have so much talent there.
Yep.
That is a factor that should be considered when we're talking about Abi.
Absolutely. I think you're right. But who else did you like today?
Oof, Podence. I mean, it's
Of
so
course.
it's so different, and it's so impressive to see the same player performing like on a like completely different level under different coaches, right?
Yeah.
And the thing that I thought today was when you play as a team, your individual players, like they're like blooming flowers. They play much better as individuals when you're playing as a team, and that's what we were lacking under our last coaches, because we had no chemistry, we had no direction, and we had no like philosophy in our game. We were just playing football. Right now, I can see I can see a path where we're going, and the players are following that path, and
Mhm.
that's very optimistic thing. I was talking with my friend today. Το φετινό θα είναι το πιο γλυκό. I'm gonna say that in Greek. And
Listen,
by the way, he's Aris fan, and our game like finished earlier, so I was watching the last minutes of Aris game, and like when they score the late equalizer, the penalty, I start talking with the guy. I go, thank you, like you're gonna be rewarded with the cup for that goal. Thank you.
yeah, I mean, so I'm not gonna lie. The last it was like 8 minutes of this match, I was watching Aris Aik. I wasn't watching Olympiacos because I wanted to see what happened. But what you said earlier, I agree with 100%, especially considering what happened earlier this season. Like how it started, the turmoil we experienced, and then like now what we've. Can you imagine like everything we went through? Like the worst part, probably some of the worst football. Like it just seemed like it was a disaster just to come back. And if we, I'm not going to get ahead of myself and say that we'll win the title, right? But if we can come back and snatch this from everybody else after what happened to us this season, it would be one of the sweetest. It would be one of the sweetest titles ever for me
Exactly.
that I've witnessed.
And Ari, right
Have
now,
you witnessed a title where we came back and snatched it from
no, not
the
in that
claws of
way.
defeat?
I
Not like
remember
that.
titles when we were behind like one team on Ethnicals and like we beat them like in the final
Right.
games. But when we're fourth and like, oh yeah, that's gonna be something amazing, like absolutely
It would
amazing.
be. It,
And we
100%.
have the momentum, Ari, right now. We really do have the momentum. You know, it's like a
I agree.
basketball game. You're down 15 points, then 10, then 6, then 2. Like you're still down, but you have the momentum to win the game at the end. And that's the situation right now. You can see that PAOK, AEK, Panathinaikos, they're not used as they're not good as they used to be like some months ago. We're playing better football now than all these clubs. So I'm very, very optimistic. And like the point we took back 2 days ago, we can see how like the value of it point right now. Because it can be a decider, right, at the end of the season.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Real quick, I saw a question here from Jacob Shed. Is there going to be a show analyzing the matchup with Maccabi? If we have people that can be free to do it beforehand, we will do one. We usually try to do something pre-match. Usually it's recorded, and then talk about Maccabi, and then a post-match, which we 100% are planning on doing this week. So just keep an eye out on our spaces, whether you're on Twitter or X, I should say, Instagram. We'll have information about that. We'll try and get something for pre-match analysis for that. Just keep an eye out. We'll do our best. Now, Roman, before I get the next person in here, since you don't want to do transfer talk, that's fine.
No, I
want to
have my
ask you.
thoughts. Don't get me wrong. I have my thoughts, but we're gonna discuss it at the end of the season, I think.
You're right. So instead of then telling me about the loan question, just tell me your man of the match and give me your coach's grade too while I have you here.
Well, the obvious answer would be El Kabi, but I'm gonna say Podence.
El Cab, you think is the obvious answer?
Well, when you're scoring 2 goals, you have to be like.
I see what
I
you're
mean, and
saying.
he was close to a hat trick, and we're discussing is he? I mean, that
Yeah.
would be
Oh,
the
he
obvious.
should have had a hat trick. That's
Yeah,
on him though.
and then yeah, I agree with that. That will be the obvious answer, but there was so many creation from Podence. He scored a goal that was the VAR like it was offside or it was a handball. I don't even remember.
For Podence?
Yeah, the goal that Podence
Navarro's
scored.
handball.
Yeah,
Navarro's
yeah.
handball.
I thought it was offside first, but yeah, then they showed the replay. It was a handball. And what about the coach, man? He's doing absolutely great. I mean, no one could ever like imagine that. Like he's like a magician. He came and in a very very small amount of time, he turned not like the team, but we were extremely pessimistic and now we're extremely optimistic.
Yes.
It's like
he's logical. He's logical.
It's much more than a team that plays better. It's the feelings that we have like watching a team like that.
It's crazy. It's incredible stuff. I'm happy. You're happy.
Everyone's happy.
Everybody's been happy the last 2 weeks.
Life is good. Yeah. So I mean, can you imagine a scenario when like we're not winning the championship, but let's say like we're 1 point down at the end, like that last match, and like Ike, for example, is winning the championship. I think most of us are still gonna be very happy, and I'm not very happy because of like Olympiacos goals is like always to win the championship. But I'm personally gonna feel a satisfaction that our worst team for past 10 like years were that close to win a championship.
Yeah.
We're that close when we played
Yeah.
the worst football for last I don't know how many years, and we're still competing. That would be something. But
I
we're
agree
gonna
with
win
you.
it. We're,
I agree with you.
the day we're gonna crown champions, I'm gonna be here and I'm gonna say to Ari, I told you that we're gonna be champions. And yeah, I'm gonna remind you that. And το φετινό θα είναι το πιο γλυκό. That will be my goodbye for tonight.
I love it, Roman. Trust me. I hope that you can say "I told you so." I hope you come back here, and I hope that we're laughing, we're drinking, and you're telling me "I told you so." I'm
Okay,
waiting for that day.
mark my words, buddy.
Roman, thank you so much for joining again. I will be praying for that day to come.
Oh,
I promise.
everyone. Okay, thank you guys for having me.
Take care. We got one more. We got one more coming in here. Eli, how are you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Where are you checking in from?
Ohio, U.S.
Ohio.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I gotta say, I love what you have going on here. It's just genius, and it's great. All of us connect all over the world. I love it. So
Thank you so much for joining. Real quick before I get your take on a few things, Hussein, notice the merch. This is the new Adidas red polo, guys. You saw some of the teasers for stuff that's coming this week. We're expecting to debut everything. We still have to work out a kink with international shipping. And once we get that worked out and we know we're 100% good to go, you guys will be able to check everything out. And the merch is also part of a way you can support us, not just liking, subscribing, not just the Patreon chat. Anything that comes from the merch helps us continue to build this show. We have some fun stuff we want to do, need the capital to do it. This is a great way you can help us do that. And of course, sport the colors. Any of you get anything, share it on social media. It's okay. No Olympiacos jersey needed for this. Don't worry. But anything you guys get, if you share it on socials, we will share it. We just love the fact people want to wear stuff that's from us. That's all we care about. So, Eli, let's talk about the game. Who did you like today? Tell me your thoughts.
I think it was a great game. It shows a lot. I'm super excited about this, how it's playing out. We're behind. I felt like last year too, we had some hope. We're like at -9. And this year is just, I think this is a year though. Last year was too much turmoil. We're really turning it around this year with Mendilibar. And I'm really psyched. I can't wait for the next game. Just like, I haven't been this excited for a while.
Just a couple years, right?
Yep, it's been a while. But
yeah, because even that last season of Martins where we won the title, right? We won the title, but the football was so bad.
It was, right? It wasn't exciting. Like now it's like I can't wait to watch Horta with the passes, with Potencia. It's just amazing how they're playing. And I really, I don't want to look too forward, but I really think we can make it far this year in Europe. I think I want that more than I do the Protatema, but even the Protatema would be sweet.
Listen, the expectations. I was going back and listening to the shows that we did right before Mendilibar came, and I was looking at the comments. I was looking at what people had been saying about the team, and there was zero expectation. Most people were like, look, we're not going to win anything. We're going to get embarrassed in Europe. Let's just do what we can, and we'll rebuild in the summer. Like people were beginning to check out. That was the feeling. We were getting that on socials. And now there's a rejuvenation.
We check out so early. There's always hope. It's a long season. And the fact that the Greek Protatema has the playoffs, it just changes everything. Like 2 games against every big team in Greece, that's like 6 points if you go undefeated and win each game. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we finish the season 4 or 5 points ahead.
Look, at this point, I believe anything's possible. We are playing so well I mean, compared to what I was expecting in the beginning, before Carvajal left, I expected nothing. Now I feel
Yeah.
like anything's possible.
It's like a new
That's
season.
how I see it.
Right.
So it's hard for me to express just like how excited I am about
Me
everything.
too. Me too. I just can't wait. I don't want to get too excited because we have a long season still ahead, and we'll see.
Of course. Of
Nothing but
course.
excitement.
Yep. You're absolutely right. Now, so tell me in who your man of the match was today. Give me a coach's grade as well while you're at it.
So I have to go with Bodense for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Alcabi scored the 2 goals, I get it, but it's not only about scoring; it's so much more, you know. And that penalty was just beautiful. The way he passed him up there was just,
Oh yeah,
it was great. Now the coach, the one thing I love about Mendelebar, he loves to test the waters. He loves to try new things out. I got to give him a 9, out of 10, for sure.
I like it. That's an A. That's an A, buddy. We'll take it. I think it's very well deserved. So I agree with you there. One more before I let you go and before I begin to close things up here. I'll ask you the lone question that
Okay.
Roman doesn't want to deal with till the end of the season. So tell me, Alexandropoulos, Horta, Podence. What are you doing about those loans?
So Alexandropoulos, I love him because he's Greek, right? I don't know if we're willing to spend 4 million on a player that's going to be on a bench, right? I do want him,
I
but I don't
wouldn't.
know
Yes.
what's doable. Horta, I really hope we sign Potenza and Horta. I think we will. I think Marinaki has shown us he could do the bomb, right? Garmo, for realistic, we know it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
But if we could do that too, that'd just be amazing. And just that's all we need. If we can close those 3 players, I don't want to see another signing. That's it.
I'm with you there. I'm definitely with you there. So, Eli,
It was nice being on.
give me an outlook. Before you go, give me an outlook. How do you feel about Maccabi?
Let's just wait and see.
You don't want to jinx it. That's how everybody is. Everyone's cautious. I like it.
I remember
respect
that 2010. I'll never forget it. I don't want to even. Let's just wait and see.
I love it. I love it. Eli, thank you so much for joining me from Ohio. I was actually there for a wedding a couple of months ago.
Oh, really? Where are you
actually,
from?
might have been longer than
States?
Huh?
What part of the states are you from?
I'm in Baltimore.
Baltimore. Okay. DMV area.
I'm down here between Baltimore, DC, but I was up there for a wedding.
What part?
Loved it up there. It was near. I don't remember exactly where it was. It was near Campbell.
Campbell. Okay. Yeah. A lot of Greeks over in Campbell.
Oh, there's a ton.
Yeah.
So,
all right, man. Well, thanks for having me, and I'll be seeing you soon.
Thank you, Eli. I appreciate it. Well, boys and girls, we are getting ready to start wrapping things up here. So we're going to take a look and see how you guys voted for man of the match coach's grade before we do. My man of the match, I probably buried the lead early. My man of the match was obviously Podence. Told you guys earlier, SofaScore had him 9.6. 9.6 rated. Crazy. I mean, before that, I thought he got involved in everything. I mean, El Kabi, he gets the hat trick and doesn't waste the opportunities in open play that he had. Maybe I give it to him. But the first goal was not his on purpose, and then the second was a penalty. So he scored the goals, and we need people to score the goals however they come. But for me, Podence was the one behind everything. I mean, just there was also an interval of play where he was dribbling. You had 2 Volos defenders, one in front, one behind, waiting, and Podence jukes both of them out at the same time. I mean, he's just been a different sauce, guys, since, and I'm so happy to see that back from him. He looks incredible. He just look like there's a weight off of his shoulders ever since Carvajal left. And today he was incredible for me. I mean, he's my man of the match, 100%. Coach's grade, man advantage, but we've seen that we've struggled sometimes with man advantages before. And so I give him an A. You know, it is what it is. I wish we had scored more goals because I hate how wasteful we've been, but you can't not give the guy an A. He does. Mendilibar is doing things maybe that aren't as impressive on paper, but because we've had so many coaches that cannot do the simple things correctly, it makes this look good. And I'm going to take that win and give it to them, because if everybody did the simple things right, we would be happy about everything. And we haven't been until now. So I give him an A. We're going to look at what you guys said. We're going to check out the poll here. And by far and away, it's Daniel Podence, 56% of the vote coming from you guys, 28% going to El Kabi, 9% for Nelson Abbey, and 7% for Horta. So there you guys have it. There is your man of the match, Daniel Podence. I'll touch on a couple of quick questions I saw before we go ahead and close up here. Where there was a basketball one that I missed from Still Trolling Bro. Hey guys, did you already talk about basketball? What's your thoughts on the upcoming game against Virtus? Cheers. Actually, we didn't really chat about basketball. I'm sorry, buddy. You are looking at like the only guy on the show that knows nothing about basketball. Maybe myself and Kostas Lianos. Actually, Martial, I don't think, is a basketball guy either. It's really the basketball guys are Dimitri, Costa, and Lambro. I've been watching now Olympiacos basketball for about 2 years. I still don't understand the game at all. That's why I follow Red Point Guard. Follow them if you guys don't already, if you want to learn more about basketball and Olympiacos basketball. But I'm sure the guys will do something with them to talk about the game. As far as I'm concerned, the game against Virtus Bologna, I always believed our basketball team can win any game. They have so much heart that I wish all season the football team had. I never count them out. And now that Shaq McKissick is back too, and he's playing well, I mean, the team's firing on all cylinders for me. Walkup just looked like Walkup again, so I'm super excited. I'm super excited for the basketball team, but and now the football team is finally playing how they're supposed to play too. So I'm happy all around. All my teams for Olympiacos are doing great things. So closing comment here from Manos G7. The fact that supporters from around the world get the chance to gather here and talk about our favorite team is so massive. It shows how global Olympiacos can be. A harbor team that made it legendary, especially for us here in Greece. It shows how immense Olympiacos is as an idea. Broadens our horizons about how far Olympiacos can go. And never forget, Olympiacos is one and united in all sports. Thank you for that, Miles. That's why we exist. Yorgos Moutzanos, who would you like to draw at the playoffs in the first match? Yorgos, I'm going to be honest with you. The way we're playing, I do not care. Give me any of them. I don't care. Give me anyone, because we are playing. If we play like we have been, there is nobody that we can't beat. There is nobody in this league that we can't put it to, even Ike. Give me any of them. I don't care. First match, do not care. Give me any of them, and I want to see what the boys can do. I'm excited for it, and I haven't been able to say that for derbies for a very long time. I am super excited for the playoffs, because I think this team has what it takes. I really do. And I'm excited, extremely excited to see what they do with it. So I'll leave you guys with that. We're a little over an hour here. We're going to check. We'll see you guys in the midweek, of course, because we're playing against Maccabi Tel Aviv. I believe it is on the 6th. Also, we have the draw for the playoffs. So we'll see what the rest of the season is going to look like playoff-wise. Huge. Every game is must win. Everything is huge. Against Maccabi Tel Aviv, against every team in the playoffs. Must-win games if we want to snatch the title from what originally was the jaws of defeat, from how poor the season was. We can snatch it from the teams who have been experiencing some of their best periods in the last decade or 2 decades even. So that says something. And it will make, as Roman said before, this season even sweeter than the rest. So many things to be excited for. I can't wait. I'm already counting down the minutes until Olympiacos plays again. So really pumped. We're going to get to you guys this midweek. Check out merch. Merch is coming. Merch is going to be, once we get the international shipping issue worked out, it'll be coming your way. We're super pumped about it. We are planning on having another live stream. Adi, I see you in there. If we can get something going before the match, maybe a recording before we play against Maccabi Tel Aviv, we'll want you on there because you are, if I remember correctly, a Maccabi Haifa fan, and you can give us some inside info about what's going on against Tel Aviv. So we'll keep an eye out on socials. We'll see if, as long as the schedules work out, we're going to get that done. So thank you, everyone that's tuned in for this. It is a great time to be an Olympiacos fan again. We are super excited. Maccabi, Tel Aviv coming up this week. The draw for the playoffs coming up this week. Well, this is Gate 7 International, by the fans for the fans, and we will see you next time.